Bakhmut. This is how we live here, little by little. As always, I have the most advantageous position here, damn it. Everything is comfortable. Everything is fine. Something is always burning all round. My position is absolute fire. I have to watch over there. Just sit and look there. Everything is safe over there.
Wow.
In Bakhmut storms, the fuck are you shooting at me? Chapter 1. The guide. When you first enter Bakhmut, you are told, now the guides will lead you to the position. You think to yourself, oh, guides. They must be some cool scouts. They definitely know everything very well. Well, you just follow them, and they tell you everything, like fuckers on your 3 o'clock here. We dash through here. Here we crawl. Careful here, shelling. And so you follow them, and on the 3rd day you yourself already know all that, and they tell you, urgently assign 2 guides to lead a new group in. And that's it. You are already a guide yourself. At night it is a rather difficult task to walk 1.5 kilometers without anyone getting lost. That is, you must be in control of the situation around you, keep a certain distance. A group that is flocked to avoid getting lost to reach the destination point is at great risk. It can easily get ambushed, caught under fire, and destroyed. Therefore, we need guides who know the terrain well, know well where the enemy is. And those guides must plan the route to avoid fire contact. I mean, you are constantly ready to engage in a fight if necessary, but in general it will be a bad thing to happen. If you're leading a group to positions and you get caught in a fire contact, then you are a terrible guide. That's where we've got to go. Do not rise. What? First day here. Damn, what a fucking shitstorm. The day's over, but fuck. Shall be well, brother. Does it hurt? Nah, it's fine. Chapter hashtag 2 quick legs. Our units, our neighboring units, constantly need fire support. Because the fuckers just as quickly resupply their ammunition. Each their delivery of ammunition means their rolls in the next hour or 2. Therefore, it is necessary to constantly and quickly suppress them. Our guys work accurately down to the last millimeter. We had to deliver ammo. On sleds. Hell no. On our backs. 50 kilograms. A crate with mines. Me and another guy. Due to the fact that in some places the snow was reaching the waist and there were shell craters beneath it, it was quite difficult to move. Especially, it got extra difficult as it began to melt. Especially when you're missing a leg. Want to see? Good thing I've changed my sock. Dad, what should we choose, grenades or ammo? Get the grenades. We also need something to shoot with it. Yes, I have grown too old for this. Your cam is not working. Bakhmut. Hey, Doggo. Hercules the dog. Clean, Doggo. Clean. That's... I've got it. Get everything we have. Damn it. Itch. Chapter 3. A Combat Mate. We were told to take the front defensive line. My combat mate and I and another guy who was later wounded and evacuated. They sent another guy in his stead from the house in which we were originally. We moved a little to the right and asked a neighboring position to cover us with our pigs. They fired a couple of shots, and we started to enter the house. There was a house and some barn nearby, and there was a gap between them. We approached the house, and I noticed that all the windows in the house were bricked up. At first, I was surprised. Then my warmate spotted a hole he wanted to throw a grenade through. And just in that gap between the house and the barn, he got 5 bullet wounds. I radioed that we had a wounded in action, requested help. Mates from the nearby positions rushed to us and began evacuation. I cut off his body armor, and we started to evacuate him. While we were evacuating him, the fuckers tightly pinned us down with a machine gun. One of our mates got killed. But we pulled out that wounded man. I applied 2 tourniquets to him and 2 occlusive seals, bandaged his neck and head. Now he is in good condition. He speaks already and is recovering further. I will fucking thank them later. Quietly, please.
Иди сюда. Иди сюда. Иди сюда. Иди сюда. Не проживай, Пётр.
Who's there? Hey, it's my tea. Yeah, nice television set. Would be great to have a PlayStation. Hagen. And here is a panoramic view. That's it, let's get out of here. Chapter 4. The Legion. At that time, the position was managed by a fighter with the call sign Legion. I was on the walkie-talkie with him all day, and at one point he stopped coming in. 2 minutes later, Balance got in touch with me and told that Legion got seriously wounded, an exit wound to his collarbone. I was like, phew. Then 5 minutes passed and I heard on the radio, Legion here. Everything is fine. I'm ready to continue fighting. I realized that half of our guys there had mild shell shock already. On the whole, the boys were already quite winded. I told them, pull back to the building. I got a little scared for them, gave them some slack, and told them to pull back. They began to move back, and then I thought to myself, no, why should we surrender our positions? I got on the line and said, Legion, can you storm the fuckers' position? He said, yes, I can. He began storming the fuckers, pushing them and driving them into the hangar. The roof of that hangar had collapsed, and we could see the Russians from a drone. I told him it is a very narrow space. Let's try to drop a few grenades in there through the roof to not risk our men. The wounded Legion answered me. I drove the fuckers here. I will finish them off. The greatest difficulty for a warrior here is at the same time his biggest gamble. You get thrilled. Only the most skilled survives here. Where are we going, lads? To Bakhmut.
Скажи, нахуя ти мене втягнув в цю всю хуйню? Яку? Бо чого всю з цими мужиками? Щось місяць? Ну я питаю тебе. І куди ти...
Toke, why did you get me into all of this? Into all of this fuckery? Affordable housing for combat veterans. Which one do you like more? The one on the right. Okay, what's in here? Oh, restroom. Sorry, this one's for ladies. The men's. I'm out for now. Chapter 5. The wave. They come in waves, like in a video game. One wave rolls in. If you destroy it, another one rolls. Let's say the first enemy group enters a house next to you. They try to bring ammunition, grenades, and other weaponry there. If you destroyed them, the next group runs in and uses that ammunition, rounds, grenades. If the second group is destroyed, the third can try to run in. If all three have been suppressed, enemy mortar shelling begins. That's how they work. The mortar shelling ended, and we were told on the radio that enemy infantry was moving, trying to outflank us, and so on. I realized that I was not able to fight. The image before me was moving up and down. But I had to switch on and watch the sector so that the enemy could not flank us. I realized that if something would change in that image before me, and roughly speaking, the enemy would come out, then I would destroy them. A mine flew into the house, and I helped him get out of the house and covered him. He was nauseous and getting worse, but he gathered all his strength and held his sector so that they could not outflank us. In which house were the machine gunners then? They're in the red one. Yes. Are you shooting from here? From here? Not, I'm going over there. Arm. Wounded. Lads. Anyone here? Lads. The road is under fire. One by one. I'm running first, then the second one follows, and so on. Do not stop. Let's go. Chapter 6. Push him out. At one of the positions, the Wagnerites were on the first floor. There were 3 of our men on the second floor right above them. One of our guys was seriously wounded and unable to walk. By that time, both the Wagnerites and our guys had run out of grenades, and our fighters had half a magazine of rounds left for 3 of them. I decided to pull some of our men from a nearby position so that they could just start shooting at the windows with small arms, throw VOG grenades inside to suppress the fuckers while our guys could jump out of the second floor. The boys started to suppress the fuckers, and Lysai shouted to me that they were running out of ammunition too and that the boys should jump out ASAP. I contacted them and asked why they were not jumping out. They replied that they had a wounded non-walker and they could not leave him there. I started yelling into the radio, "If you don't take him the wounded man now and push him out the window and jump out yourselves, you will stay there with him forever." And then I heard Lysai yelling on the walkie-talkie, "They're out. They're out." So they dared to push the seriously wounded man out the window and then jumped out themselves. As a result, The wounded fighter was saved. He survived and he's all fine now. Fuck. What was that? A 150mm? Sort of. Might even be a tank shooting. It did not whistle, but hissed. Yet we arrived exactly on time. You've missed a lot. They sprinkled us with phosphorus here, and you are not here. Yep, our guys are over there. Oh God, see what's happening. The access of oxygen has to be blocked somehow. It is even burning the asphalt. Shine some light here, Sanu.
Сюда, сюда. Ага.
Chapter 7. Lexus. That one was probably the most sensitive moment. It was pulled out of our combat mate. Our friend. Not a combat mate, but a friend. We came here together, and we even took a photo together the day before. And even then, it was clear that he would not make it. It felt very hard to ask him to take a picture, because I thought he would understand everything.
Це було дуже важко запропонувати сфотографуватися, бо я думав, що він зрозуміє.
It really bothers me that my last words to him were such a good day to die. And it was a beautiful day. I think it was even snowing and sunny.
І я йому кажу, такий гарний день, щоб померти.
Those were my last words to him.
Мене дуже вразило.
And that really stunned me. Then I pulled this bullet out of him. A machine gun hit him. He was at a very difficult position. With that, he was not scared. He was dragging his mate out to save his life, and he died himself. We called him Lexus. His call sign was Docent, but he had a Lexus, so we called him Lexus.
Все нормально, братан. Я потолок на голову упал, прикинь.
Выйди на карьеру. Право, право. Наведение.
Lay cover fire, lads. Our evac team is moving out. Lay down cover fire. Our evac is out. Faster. Faster. All weapons fire. Epilogue. There were worries associated with the new location. Urban warfare. I had not come across that before. With such close fire contact, with such work. There was no fear, though. There were certain concerns about whether I was making the right decision, whether I was taking the right position, and so on.
Правильно ли там позицию занимаешь и так далее были. Вот. Как правильно.
How do I move around, and so on. But fear was not the case. If you let fear overpower you, then you are no longer a fighter. It is hard to recall all the feelings now. Everything passes quickly, since you need to swiftly solve problems, observe. In other words, there is no time for fear. Then, over time, you just get tired of being afraid. All you need is to complete the task, and that's it. Since there were 10,000 chances of getting killed in one day, and those were just the ones that you knew of, and probably the same number of those that you were unaware of. You don't care anymore, you are not afraid. You may be killed any second, and in order not to be killed, you need to act first. Any person who enters positions and holds them and does not retreat is a priori a hero. We are used to saying these old Soviet theses like, this one's a hero. And this one's just a regular fighter. Well, damn, they are all heroes. I believe that we showed ourselves worthy here. We've gained the experience that we needed to gain in order to progress as a unit. We made mistakes, we will consider them, but we will not talk about them. What do you have there? Promising team of Bakhmut. Is that from a banned pro-Russian political party in Ukraine? Yes. I choose a better life. Show the other side who those fuckers are.